Oh, this is awful.
Hey, is this that one thing where he's like, hey, don't bring that one thing up, and you guys just totally got it?
Yeah, we're dancing around it a little bit, but I totally want to
tell
talk
him.
about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So in like the 7th grade, I was in a punk rock band.
Yeah.
And
Coolest name ever,
the
though.
Coolest thing about it was the name. And the name was Unproper English.
All right, so Chris and Aaron from C10 here. We're in Kansas City today.
The city of fountains. I think you would live here just because of the sound of water falling.
It's incredible. Everywhere you turn, there's tons of fountains.
There is.
It's incredible. But today, we just got done hosting a breakfast out at Hallmark headquarters where we met some of the top IT executives from the Kansas City area. But we also had the honor of getting to know somebody really special. We're here with him today, and that's Jack Blair.
But we're not going to tell you where he's from. We're first going to get to know him a little bit. So
Oh, man.
that way it leaves it elusive and people have to kind of guess what we're talking about. So
I like it.
on the leads or the heels of technology, we got to know a lot about what's happening in Kansas City alone with some of the organizations here, but also getting to know a little bit more about some of the larger organizations and presence everywhere else and all the fun things that they're doing. So it's interesting. What we did learn was a lot about their personalities behind their titles.
Yeah, we heard some crazy stories today at breakfast. In fact, your story, Jack, that you shared, tell us what happened. We were going a little bit beyond the title of getting to know each executive in the room a little bit beyond who they are at work. But you had an interesting story that you shared.
Right, yeah. So I wanted to share a story that, I was relatively positive no one else in the room had experienced before. And so I was down fly fishing, which is one of my passions, down at Bennett Springs, which is in the middle of Missouri, just south of the Lake of the Ozarks, if you've ever watched the show.
Great
Yes.
show, by the way.
Chris got me into that like a long time
It's
ago, and
a
I'm
phenomenal
addicted.
show. We all love it, yeah. And so I was fly fishing down there. I was getting ready to put my waders on. I put my right foot into the wader, and I felt this extraordinary painful something like it was a
Like in your heel or
in my fat toe.
your fat toe?
My fat toe. So it felt like I had stuck my fat toe through like a needle
Oh,
or
dude.
something like that. And I'm like, what just happened? So I pulled my foot out. There's no blood or anything like that. So I'm like, okay, I didn't hit a needle. I got stung by something. And so my buddy who I was with, we shook out my boot, and a scorpion popped out.
Dude.
I would have lost my marbles.
It was crazy. It was like a scorpion. I just got stung by a scorpion.
When you saw the scorpion,
Yeah.
did you like scream a little bit? Because I feel like if I knew that that's what hit me, I'd been like, "Oh my gosh!" and I would have thrown my waders
Yeah,
and
how
got
did
there
it
out of
expose
it.
itself? How do you find it?
So we shook out the boot because we're like, there's something in there, and we're going to continue to go fly fishing. We're not going to let this stop us, but we want to get whatever was in there out. So we shook it out, fell on the ground. We're like,
How big?
dude, that's a scorpion. It was probably about like 3 inches long, probably, maybe 4. So about, that big.
A pack of
No.
gum.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Was he still moving? Like
No, he was dead.
So it's like a bee. Like once
Yeah,
they use it
I
once,
guess-
it's over?
Yeah, I guess he died. And
Whoa.
a really weird thing that happened is that then a bunch of little ants came and ate the whole thing.
What?
Which was really strange. And because we
Gross.
found that because we caught some fish, we came back, and then a bunch of ants just like had eaten the whole thing. So like,
Devoured 'em.
way to kick off a podcast with that like really gross story.
Yeah,
but-
of a scorpion in your boot.
Pretty
Hey,
sick.
man, you survived a scorpion strike. That was
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
cool.
Do you know what's so crazy? At our last breakfast in Portland, it was one of the executives of Nike, and his nickname was
Scorpion King.
Scorpion King.
way.
Because he used to, he actually collect a scorpion and put it underneath his bed, and his mom never knew about it.
Yeah.
So he's from India, and he was like, I was named Scorpion King.
Oh
yeah,
my
man, you and
gosh.
Scorpion King would be buds.
Yeah, we would. Yeah, or arch enemies.
Well, we're
Oh, that's
excited to
crazy.
have you here today. So thank you for being here. So should introduce ourselves. So we got a great team here today. My name's Chris Hemming, founder and president of C10.
Also known for his Texas toast voice.
Yeah, he has the best radio voice. I'm
He
so
does.
jealous
I was
right
gonna say
now.
the same thing at the
I'm
very
so
beginning.
jealous right now that because we're
Thanks,
really gonna
man.
dive into this podcast thing deep, and it's gonna be cool that we have like an actual radio voice.
They'll be Thanks, like, "Is man."
that
Yeah,
Chris humming?
yeah, it's good.
And next to me, we've got our COO and SVP, Erin Overly. She's a superstar.
Yes, business partners actually. So
Yep.
working hard over here. And then we've got Jack Blair with the unidentifiable company, or who you are and what you do just yet. And then we've got
The famous LJ Fresh. This guy is
you
very
know
well
him?
known. I think I know this guy. We're excited to have him on our podcast. This guy has me laughing every single day. He's one
He
of
says
my
the
favorite
funniest
people to
stuff.
travel with. He's
I'm
a lot
just
of fun.
here to order barbecue and do things like that, which is what I'm actually doing right now, trying to find us something to eat.
Shouldn't that be my job, being the Kansas City?
Yeah, you're
guy?
you're supposed to
feel-
give us the.
Thanks,
I'm,
Jack.
I'm
I'm
glad you're
slacking
here
here.
though, because Q39, where we were recommended to
Yeah.
get food from, I can't get it from Uber Eats.
Oh.
So
Right.
there's another place.
So
called
here's the challenge today.
Cowboys Barbecue.
Ooh, that's
Do
a
you know
good one.
anything about that?
I've never had it, but I mean,
Should
it's not
we
going to be
try
bad.
it, or-
I say go.
Wild
for it.
Boys?
Okay, let's try it.
So the biggest challenge we were trying to figure out was because Aaron is vegan/vegetarian. We were trying to figure out, can you get ribs here?
Yeah.
What are they made of? Tofu?
like anything that's not an animal wouldn't have ribs. So.
Like beans?
There you go.
Yeah.
that's
okay.
basically all you're going to be able to order off of this menu.
That's
You know,
okay.
I'm
Okay.
glad that you're going to some place that isn't like one of the top three, because you've got like the top 3 or top 4 places that everybody knows in Kansas City.
Yeah.
But I think it's really important that we know that it's a hobby that people have in Kansas City to create barbecue, and then people that get really good at it
Right.
and create their own small businesses. And so people from out of town should give those people a try too, because most likely it's going to be really, really good, because Kansas City doesn't make
I like what he's
bad
saying.
barbecue.
Yeah.
So
You got to give somebody a chance to be
Right.
great.
So my
Exactly.
question,
Yeah.
Jack,
Yeah.
is what is your favorite secret barbecue spot in Kansas City for everybody listening?
The
If they're
uncovered
here, what should they go try that's
Oh,
not one
man.
of the top 3 that you're like,
That isn't on a Google search.
yeah.
That's
Ooh.
not on a Google search.
That was a double meaning ooh.
That's cool.
Yeah, so
Sure.
you've been here in the market for a long time.
Yeah.
And where did you work before?
So I used to work at IBM,
Yeah.
and I focused on analytics for the most part. So analytics sales. That evolved into a role on the IBM Watson team. So if you're not familiar with what IBM Watson is, it's IBM's AI, their artificial intelligence. And so I worked with some people there, and I've worked with all sorts of companies, big and small, and that was a really good thing for my career.
How long ago was that?
That was only 3 months ago. So I stopped working there 3 months ago and transitioned into my new job, but I was there for 7 years.
7 years. So you have been talking about AI for 7 years.
For the most part, yeah. I mean, for the past 5, definitely, yeah. Yeah.
Has it evolved?
It absolutely has. Yeah, AI and machine learning, and it has evolved because obviously there's keywords that people like to have dropped over the past few years, like big data. So like, how do you make sense out of big data? Statistical algorithms, from predictive algorithms to prescriptive algorithms, and it's all kind of it's a little bit different. And so there's all these big keywords, but it's like, at the end of the day, we're just solving a problem using math.
So who are the mathematicians behind all these ideas? Like, I just figured these
Yeah.
people are just back to like, okay, that's new code. Let's go.
Well, a good thing about artificial intelligence in machine learning is that a lot of it's open source. So, a lot of these algorithms have been around for a long, long time, right? And people are just putting them to use, or creating new and innovative ways of actually putting them to use. So an example of that is taking an algorithm and training it on your data set, and then deploying the output on like an IoT device. So like a train, for example, or some type of machinery or something like that. So,
I would think that that's happening more and more. So I was watching a Netflix series, or it wasn't a series, it was a movie by Netflix. It was a documentary. And one of the things that it was about, the main principle of what it was about, was the extinction of human work.
Yeah.
And like, how are we going to be getting our jobs and everything? And I think that's on top of mind of everyone's minds, is what happens when AI starts to really affect the ways that we're doing things more productive. It's taking less lead time.
Right.
All that kind of stuff. And that was what this movie was about. It was China was coming here to the States in Dayton, Ohio, trying to rebuild the automobile industry. And from that, there was a cultural shift of not understanding our culture and not adopting theirs. And then, sure enough, it became more about machines. And
Yep.
now the machines can do the work.
I think it's a real concern. You know, it's something that we have thought a lot about, and you know, we've developed some different, you know, think tank groups and stuff to address those problems. But you know, what I think we really need to focus on, and the people probably listening to this need to focus on, is, you know, how are you going to integrate AI into your business so that you still have a business, you know, however many years from now, and you know, because everyone's going through a digital transformation at the moment. Most people are. Especially here in the Midwest. So just for example, I was with a retailer the other day. They've got 5,000 stores. I won't mention who it was. But they've got 5,000 stores, and this guy's been there for 19 years. And they're kind of slowly moving along, not as fast as they would, through their digital transformation. He's been there for 19 years, and he said to me, he's like, man, I'm seeing some of these execs that have been here for like 35 years celebrating, you know, their 30, 35-year anniversaries with our company. And he's like, I'm worried that I'm not going to be able to have that anniversary, that we're not going to be around for that long. And there's different reasons for that. I think one of the reasons is that, you know, their competitors, you know, any retailer is kind of up against an Amazon is a competitor, and they do analytics really well. They do distribution really well. You know, they're getting into the drone game. So how can you kind of defend your core business against, you know, an Amazon? So it's a real concern. So now we have to help them. And what I do at my new job is I help those companies create their own, you know, new brand, or, you know, their new digital experience that they offer to their customers, etc.
That was like a little hint he just dropped of what he might be doing here in Kansas City.
I like it. Well, what's interesting to me is so there is, I don't even know how you want to segue into this, but I would say your experience at IBM is pretty incredible. And the company that you work with now is very, very selective on who they hire and how they build their team. And they're leading the world on the AI front and doing a lot of cool things with technology.
I think a lot of people touch this technology on a daily basis.
Absolutely. And so tell us a little bit about your journey. So you were at IBM, and then what happened?
Well, I always have been a fan of this company, and so, you know, I've always, you know, been looking for, you know, how would I fit into their ecosystem, and you know, since I do have a passion in AI, and they are the leader in artificial intelligence, and essentially just solving problems with technology, a position opened up, and I applied for it, and I got the job. It was simple as that. So
very cool. So what company are we talking about?
Well, it starts with a G.
Why don't you search it on the internet?
I think you should just Google it.
Yeah.
Their second hint.
That's a
number
pretty good
2.
hint.
I feel like that made the Urban Dictionary, or maybe even the actual Webster's Dictionary.
Googling?
So
Yeah,
Google something.
Google. I think
Right.
Google is a verb.
Really?
I'm not
looking
kidding.
this
Yeah,
up.
yeah. Find out.
I'm gonna Google it real quick.
Google it.
Quack. Quack.
Yeah.
I like it.
That's-
So then you've been at Google now for 3 months?
yeah, it's only been about 3 months, but I feel like I've been there for 3 years.
Wow.
You know, just because everyone's so nice.
Tell us about the nap room and the ping pong table and the thing that
so
everybody's imagining
it's
in
very,
their head.
It's true. I mean, that's what our offices, you know,
Yeah, even
have in
your
them.
even at your
Even our Kansas City office.
How
yeah,
many
so,
meals do you eat there a day?
So we've got, in the Kansas City office, we've got lunch provided every single day, but we've also have the snacks. Lots of snacks.
Whoa.
when
I'm
you
a
say
big
when you say
snacker.
lunch, he was like, oh, it's lunch. I've pictured like 5 chefs that should
Well,
have
so-
like amazing jobs at their
Uh-huh.
own restaurants,
So
and they're
definitely at the big offices out in California, New
Okay.
York, and
Oh,
Austin,
yeah.
Chicago.
Okay.
They have, you know, it's a big deal. I mean, you've got tons of choice and all that kind of stuff. But even here in Kansas City, we've got this caterer that brings it in every single day, and she locally sources all the food because, you know, we're a very sustainable
Aaron's
company.
into that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'd
You're
love it.
speaking
So
my heart.
yeah, and you know, it's so good. And so I bring clients there, actually. So instead
Cool.
of going out to eat someplace, I'll bring them into the office. We'll have the
Google
Google lunch. Yeah, we like to
love
get
it.
really googly, and that's
I
a,
like it.
you know.
When we're based out of Denver, Colorado, and you guys have a big office out in Broomfield,
Right.
and we had a chance to tour that, and they had food from all around the world. It was a lot of fun.
What'd you have for
Yeah.
lunch yesterday, or the last time you were at work?
There's always a salad, and
Okay.
then I think that it was like some sort of casserole that had like cauliflower in it,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
they've got
Sizzling it all
Oh
day
yeah.
long.
This
Oh
little, like,
yeah. Serve that.
cake dessert thing, lemon.
Do
cake
they have
thing.
gluten-free options?
They have lots of gluten-free options.
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
it's a
Aaron,
great.
you need to live there. This is a good place.
I know.
It's a great place to work. Yeah, it's awesome.
So
And
I got a couple questions. All right. So
Sure.
when you saw that they had an opening,
Right.
and you applied for that, were you a little bit intimidated? Because I've always heard that there's like a big test, like you got to solve math problems and maybe put together Legos in a certain way. And, like, what was that like? What was
He's
that
like,
experience
you
like?
have to go through an escape room to be able to go and be working at Google.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't feel that intimidated, and here's why. I knew that I belonged. I knew that I was destined to get that position. I knew that it was
And
meant
why
for
is
me.
that?
That's because no one has the passion that I have for the company and for helping businesses in the Midwest implement cloud and AI solutions.
And this might come from when we were talking earlier with you. Back in the day, you used to customize your own Google phone.
Yeah. So back in college, that's how I became to fall in love. I had come to fall in love with Google. Was I used to root my Android phones and put custom ROMs on them, and that's basically nerd talk for like just tinkering with a personal cell phone. So yeah.
Right.
Which, by the way,
It's-
I checked. He has a Google phone, so he's
Yeah.
drinking the Kool-Aid. Yeah, this
Absolutely.
guy's sharp.
Yeah. Google
This
phone, Google tablet, Google TV, Google Homes, and the rooms in my house.
Awesome.
I've got.
Do you have all
Nest.
your children in like a Google shirt where it says Google, and like your family's like, "Hi, we're the Google family."
Yeah, not almost. That'll be our.
You're branded.
Yeah, exactly. That'll be
How
our
many
Christmas
are in the
card.
family right now?
Right now, we've got one daughter who's about to turn 3 here later in September.
Madeline, right?
That's Madeline. That's right. Yeah, she's the best. She's so funny. And then we also have a little boy due on Christmas Day, and we're
Whoa.
naming him August.
That's
And I know
right.
you guys pointed this
Love
out
it.
earlier, and I hadn't realized it until now. August is due in December.
Yeah.
I love
Pretty
it.
funny.
Let's get
Yeah.
confusing early.
Yeah.
Wait, is his
challenging 'em.
birthday in August or December? I
Right.
can't
Yeah.
keep it straight.
Yeah. Yeah. You made a comment today though at the breakfast that one of the guys had a daughter named Rain,
Oh yeah.
and that if they had collaborated on music together, they could be August Rain.
Oh
I
my
think
God.
that's a
I
great
like it.
band name.
August rain, August rain.
Title track. Yeah, that's the title track.
So let me ask you this. So that was your first breakfast you've ever been to a C10
Yeah.
event before. What did you think, and which story did you enjoy the most from meeting different executives this morning? What stood out to you?
I thought your story was pretty impressive, and maybe impressive isn't the right word, but I mean it was just a really good story that got everyone to kind of just realize that life isn't all about work, but a lot of times it's affected by work, and how you choose that life is affected by work is kind of up to you. So I really did enjoy your story. So I'm not sure if people
Thank you.
who are listening to this have heard it, but I did like the gentleman that had traveled all over the world.
Oh, yeah.
David.
Yeah, that was
David's
pretty,
cool.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And he was
I mean-
just so joyful too, like
Yes. Yeah.
just grateful for the day. He was like, "I am so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm probably doing the
That
wrong
was a
accent."
really
Yeah, no,
good
you're
impression.
Yeah.
You're on. Spot on.
I thought he was here.
Do
Spot
they
on,
call
mate.
New England or New Zealand's Kiwis, or is that Australian?
No, I think you're right.
Kiwi.
I think it is a Kiwi.
It's Kiwi.
Yeah.
What is that one show on HBO with Kiwis? It's like it's comical. It's
I
the
must have
only
missed
Comical Kiwis?
Hold on.
I must have missed
I'm
it.
googling it. I'm totally googling it right
Google
now.
A TV show that you've seen.
It was on HBO.
Comedy. Is it like a guy that plays all the
The
roles? in
the
it?
Flight of the Conchords.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
good.
yeah.
That's the only.
I think
Kiwis
they're
in it.
constantly telling people that they're not Australian, right? They're telling people they're like, we're not Aussie.
Yeah, we're not Aussie.
Yeah.
Flight of the Conchords is the best. Anyway, sorry, that was total sidetrack from telling us about. Oh gosh, Dory brain. Dory is like Dory from Finding Nemo.
Aaron's
Dora?
lost. Aaron's
Dory.
lost.
Is it Dory?
Yeah,
Aaron's lost.
unless I'm. Hola, me llamo Erin. Then that's Dora.
That's big in our household right now.
Oh, Dora
Dora the
the movie's
Explorer.
coming
Yeah,
out, by
yeah,
the way.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My daughter's obsessed with the
How old is
backpack
she?
and the map. She's almost 3.
Okay,
yeah.
perfect
Yeah.
age.
Is she like,
Yeah.
¿Cómo está?
She's getting there.
Is
Yeah.
she really?
Yeah.
Jack's all like, I don't understand our daughter.
I no comprehend.
You're like,
No
what is a
comprehend.
key?
Yeah,
What
yeah,
is
yeah.
a key? And he's just like, a key.
Do you guys live close to the city or far away?
Not too far. So we live in Overland Park, which is
So are you guys like a city vibe family? or
we're
are you like
we're suburb type of.
But when you guys spend your free time, what are you guys doing?
When we kind of spend it all over the place. Like we'll come down here, we'll do something
Yeah,
fun down in
yeah.
like where we were today by Hallmark.
Okay, because the
Um,
guy today, if you remember from Chicago or whatever, was very adamant that he was not getting a Chicago vibe out
Right.
of it. in
I'm like,
Kansas
dude,
City.
you
Yeah.
moved to Kansas City.
Population downsized, so
It's
yeah.
just a different culture out here.
Right.
I mean, I like.
I moved
less
from
people.
Chicago to Kansas City, so I. Like,
Oh, you did the same.
Oh yeah, so you have
I
that
know what he's going
experience.
through.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, but if for
Talk
me,
about growing up in Chicago.
well, I didn't grow up. So I grew up in St. Louis, but I moved to Chicago, and that's
Okay,
where
well, then start full circle.
Yeah.
Start in St. Louis.
So St. Louis, grew up, pretty normal childhood, and then went to school down in Southwest Missouri,
Athlete-
at Missouri State
athlete,
University. I did play
nerd,
golf.
Golf.
Yeah, so
golfer.
golfer.
Okay.
Yeah, not bad at golf.
'Kay.
Love to play. Still play a
Are you
lot.
scratch golfer like?
Not quite 4.5.
Jameson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked afterwards.
Yeah,
He's a
you
cool
did
guy.
link with him.
Cool guy, yeah.
Cool.
And then moved to Chicago to work at Groupon.com, which was pretty interesting. And that's where I met my wife, actually.
So you worked at Groupon? How long were you there?
I was there for a year.
Okay.
Yeah. And then
Just to meet his wife.
that's the only reason I went. Yeah.
What I want to know is, did you guys use Groupons on any of your dates?
Yeah, and
Because you
we
probably had
still
a
do.
pretty good hookup on
we,
that.
Yeah, we still do. Everyone would always ask, like, do you get Groupons for free? I'm like, hey, they're already half off.
Everyone gets everyone gets Groupon, right?
Right. So yeah, that was.
So
So
you
you're
were
at
at Groupon.
Groupon.
Was that out in St. Louis then?
That was actually in Chicago.
And
so
that was in Chicago.
Yeah, met my wife up in Chicago, then started working for IBM, moved out here, and then now working for Google, and yeah, everything's perfect.
Very
Life
cool.
is. I've been very, very lucky. So, I was born on 7/11, July 11th.
You're born on
Whoa.
Slurpee Day?
On Slurpee Day, I'm Mr.
No
Slurpee.
way.
That's right.
We do Slurpee Day.
I know.
Bro.
Isn't it awesome?
We do it.
Yeah, you're
We
welcome.
got a video out there. Check it out. We
Yeah.
Slurpeed it
Check
up.
out our
really?
Slurpee
We
Day
did.
Oh,
video.
that's hilarious.
Yeah,
So what makes me even luckier is that I was 7 pounds 11 ounces
No.
when I was born.
No way. Okay.
So,
Cool.
but anyway, so the reason why I'm saying that is because like my wife, she's amazing. I'm the luckiest guy on earth. I've got a beautiful daughter and and a son on the way, and I'm working for my dream company, and I get to help people work with Google and take advantage of our different technologies and help make their lives and their work lives better. And I can't imagine doing anything.
Yeah.
Chris was
else.
talking. He was like, that movie, The Internship? Was that what you're
Oh,
saying?
great movie, by
Yeah.
the way. Yeah. Is it like that? What was
It
it
is.
like? Your experience? Was it like that movie?
It is kind of like that. I mean, to be honest, it's relative.
They give you like a T-shirt when you get there.
I mean,
or-
yeah, there's a lot of similarities,
Yeah.
just like the hat, the spin wheel
Oh, yeah.
thing.
You
and-
do
yeah.
get that.
Yeah, and like the culture, culture is a huge deal at Google, which I love, and I think it's really important that we preserve the culture even as we expand. And so we work on that every single day, and we focus on our core values, and it really permeates through our business, and you can really see it.
Well, what were you saying, was it last night, that you as an organization don't want it to become evil?
Right. Yeah. So I mean, like, there's this. People might have heard this, but we think. So Google has this thing where it's like, okay, don't be evil, right? Because I mean, with all of this information and all this kind of stuff, I mean, obviously.
You guys could take over the world.
Well, yeah. So.
Yeah.
But we want to, not do anything bad with it, right? So I mean, we only do good, and so we only participate. In things that will progress humanity, et cetera. And we do our best to do a few things, respect the user and respect the opportunity. And so we do that every single day. And so that's one reason why I love working here is because, we focus on solving the problems. That's what we do all day is we solve problems. And now we can solve, Kansas City's problems.
I like that.
You've got
It
challenges. You bring them to us, we'll solve them.
kind of
Right.
reminds me, one of the things we talked about was trying to figure out how to bring humanity back to technology, trying to
Right.
make, bring that piece. And that sounds like something that you guys are doing very, very well. And you're working with a lot of customers, helping them succeed. One of the things that really stood out to me that I didn't realize was when someone is taking on AI, for example, how inexpensive and how available it is, and how there are tools out there that you guys have, and it sounds like you're working hands-on with some of your customers on how to succeed leveraging those tools. Is that correct?
Yeah. So, you know, we've open sourced a lot of technology, right? So when you open source something, that means that it's available for anybody to use it at no cost. And there's many reasons why we would do that. And one is to progress the technology that, if we held it within Google, then it would, potentially it would not progress as much as it should if we open it up to developers all around the world to, add their code and progress a certain technology. Those technologies are like Kubernetes. So Google created and open sourced Kubernetes.
What's Kubernetes?
So Kubernetes is like the most important technology from a hybrid cloud to multi-cloud strategy for a company.
Like two big clouds in the sky.
And so
basically,
it helps you basically build once and deploy an application anywhere using containers. So you can deploy things in your data center. For my Kansas City customers, if you got a data center here, you can deploy it in the Kansas City data center that you have, or someplace else, or you could deploy it in not only Google's cloud, you could deploy it in Amazon or Microsoft's cloud, and then you can exchange in between clouds. So basically, it's we created this technology that helps people do that really, really well, and it's now embraced by everybody. So our competitors use it and created their own flavor of it. And we did the same thing with TensorFlow, which is a deep learning and AI, machine learning platform. And so to get back to your question about, how AI can be, inexpensive and, easier to use, one, it's inexpensive because, we open source a lot of it. Mm-hmm. And two, if you need us to host it and do it for you, and you use the technology on our cloud, you only use for what you pay. And you're only going to use it and pay for it if it's providing you with a return on investment, which AI, there's been lots of studies that when you implement AI into one of your current workflows or a new workflow, that there's tremendous return on investment. So it's very inexpensive to get started. We, offer all the help in the world. We've got partners, that can help you get up and running. So I love having those conversations.
No, that's really cool. One of the things, so we did some digging. We found out that there are quite a few IT executives that like you. And what we're finding as we meet different executives and different partners that are out there, that sometimes technology is great, but sometimes it's also about the people and making sure that there's a relationship there and you probably had this at IBM, right? Different people that you worked with that could still be customers today that really have trust you and trust the decisions. Wow, that was a really good.
Sorry.
Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, I'm passing
I didn't mean
to.
I didn't mean to interrupt. You were going down a line, and I was like.
No, so as we talk to different IT executives that do trust you, we find that there's a lot of
uncertainty around it too. I think a lot of executives don't know what they don't know about Google.
Right.
Because it's open source, I think they've in some cases put you in a box. Not to say that I'm sorry, but it's true. We were in Denver when we did our first Google interaction assembly, and one of the main executives was like, I want to know more about what Google can do for me, because what was the
So we did an event in Denver, and there was a CIO who said, I really want to know more about what they're doing. It was a call center executive out of Colorado. Yeah.
And he wanted to leverage what you guys were doing, but he just didn't know how to approach it or what to do. So how do executives get more in touch with Google, especially since you said there's partners involved? That just has me confused.
Right. Yeah. So right now we are expanding the Google Cloud sales team. And so, these executives out there, if you haven't heard from your Google Cloud rep, there's a good chance that you'll hear from somebody soon. But if not, you could reach out to myself, Jack Blair at google.com. If you need to get in touch with somebody, but
it's just full name, no first name dot last name.
Yep, just Jack Blair at google.com.
Nice.
Yep. And
that's really cool.
And so what you can expect when you work with Google Cloud is that we're going to bring you new ideas. So we always do things, we call it 10x. And so at Google, when we 10x something, it means that we're going to do something and we're just going to try and blow it out of the water, essentially, and think 10 times bigger than someone normally would. That's actually how Gmail came about. So we were using a different email platform, and someone at Google was like, dude, we're going to 10x this thing. They created an amazing our email platform that is today Gmail. So I think that's a pretty fun story.
Yeah.
But, you know, so
Yeah.
now we're going to do that for your business. And so what I love doing is I love thinking of, you know, I've got 10 accounts basically here in the Kansas City area, Kansas and Missouri. And so I try and understand their businesses as much as possible and then bring them fresh ideas and things that they could do, you know, that would 10x their business or help them through a digital transformation, things like that.
Yeah.
And so if you work with us, you'll see a lot of those ideas being brought to you. You'll see a lot of collaboration in between our Google customer engineers and your team. So my engineers, I've got a team of 4 people, very, very talented, smart individuals that will actually...
Those are the people that actually went through that whole like
Those
exhilarating
are the Rubik's Cube solvers.
solve this problem and escape this
Exactly.
room in less than an hour.
Yeah.
Go.
They're so impressive, and they're just so nice, and they're fun to work with, and they spend a lot of time with my customers. And so, you know, they will sit together, we'll whiteboard. We have this thing called office hours, to where they'll actually just come and sit with, you know, our clients in a room for a few hours every 2 weeks or something like that, and their team can come and bounce ideas off of them. So when you are working with Google, you'll see a lot of that, which is different than some other companies out there, you know, in that we are collaborative, and we don't come and try and put like a 5-year agreement in front of you and say like, hey, you have to sign this or else. You know, we only make money if people are using the platform. So
What I was going to say is, normally when you have a partner, they're coming to sell you something. You guys are different. When you're calling on a CIO, you're coming with fresh new ideas.
Right.
You're helping them succeed. That's really powerful.
Like, you're
Yeah.
figuring out the problem first, and then being like, I have an idea that I think
We're going to 10x that.
Application.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
like
a lot,
that.
And a lot of times, like when you come to someone with like a 10x idea, I mean, sometimes they're like, oh, yeah, no, I've kind of thought about that stuff in the middle, you know, in the middle of the night while I'm sleeping or trying to sleep in some. But, you know, then the morning comes and you've got all these different things that you have to work on and current initiatives. But a lot of times thinking that way helps you kind of backtrack into, you know, the decisions that you're making today and how your digital transformation is going, in things like that. So, yeah, I mean, it's nice working with customers and working with Google at the same time and with partners. And so I'll answer that question. So we've got this partner network to where, like, if you want to deploy a machine learning model on the edge or something like that, you can work with Google engineers and we'll build it for you and we'll help you deploy it. But we also have partners that will help you do that too. So that's another company that would come and work with us and work with our technology and help the customer get that deployed. Yeah, lots of people do that. And so, you know, one thing that people don't know about Google Cloud, or I think they know, but they don't realize it until they start sitting in a room with us, is how secure Google Cloud is in our network, and how it's the same platform that runs our 9 applications that 1 billion people use. So,
Oh yeah, you were saying this last night. Like, what people are not realizing is that you have open sourced it, so you've tested it all these different ways. So you really have had to protect all of your own intellectual IP.
Right. Yeah. So, like, for example, like Gmail, like, you know, it's free, and Google Drive to a certain extent is free, and Photos is free, and all. Yeah. So, like, when we've made these platforms widely available, so 1 billion people are using these applications every single day, and so with that planet scale magnitude, you have to have an extremely secure network. So what that means is, you know, that's from how the data gets from, let's just say, your phone to a data center, and where processing will take place, and then back to your phone. So we laid that out and built it all ourselves. And then we also built the data centers from the ground up ourselves. And so we own it all, and that's a huge differentiator between us and some of the other, you know, cloud computing companies. We also encrypt everything in like 7 different layers, and it's, you know, we make sure that nothing gets into the hands of anybody. Even if you were to walk into a Google data center and steal some servers, you would never be able to piece together the information, because it's basically strewn across, you know, that entire data center.
That's so cool.
That is
encrypted,
cool. So question for you, as you meet with different customers and as you're listening to them ask you questions, what is it, the message that you want to share, that if there was a chance that, many people think they know what's going on, but really there's some really new and exciting things. What is that one story? What's the piece you want to make sure that they know before you leave their office?
Yeah, I mean, I think we want people to know that we're here, and the same people that have come up with everything that is Google are here at your disposal to help you Googletize your business. And I just made that word up. But, so we want to help you.
Well, you said something about the user interface, and we experienced that today with Google Maps.
Yeah.
With us getting lost like 4 different turns.
It's intuitive. Yeah, it's more intuitive than anything.
Right. So, like, we're always thinking about the end user, and we still we think about that a lot.
Can you tell the story about the guy who's hard of hearing?
Yeah. So, with our products, we want to make sure that when we build something that everybody can use it. So even if you have a disability, whether it's like you're hard of hearing or maybe you don't speak clearly, so someone that might have a speech disability, we strive extremely hard to ensure that our technology, so for example, speech to text or text to speech, can understand what the person is saying, or if you can't hear well, or you've got to, if maybe you're deaf or something like that, to where we can do live captioning. So
right.
That's something that
and
we
this
did.
is in the chat program, or the Google Chats that we were talking about?
Right. So, yeah, just for example, like if you're using our video conferencing platform and you're hard of hearing, you can hit live caption. It'll automatically transcribe what everyone is saying.
Which
in real
love,
time.
because there's going to be
cool.
somebody who's going to be able to
Right.
caption our... I spend hours tediously
Right.
typing each word and putting them over. And I know that there are programs that do it automatically, but they still charge you, and I'd still rather just do it and not say.
Right.
What's so crazy is I see it from the eyes of Chris. He has a little son. How old is Jax?
Jax is 4.
And Jax just got was it last week? He got notified by the state.
Yeah, they're putting him in a special school, but my son wears hearing aids. He's about 80% deaf. And as he's getting to be at the age of speaking, I'm starting to see a huge challenge with communication. And so when you were telling us this story, that was fascinating to me about how, I mean, even watching on your phone, how it recognized your voice, not somebody else. It recognizes different patterns. Right. That there is hope for my little boy, who, for us as parents, it was really discouraging. Like, how do we help him? But that little boy one day will be in the workforce. Maybe he'll want to work in technology. And we're seeing there's great tools out there to help people with different disabilities to succeed. So it's been incredible what you guys are doing.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons why, I love working here. And, that technology is used in business, right? I mean, so, one of the best AI examples is, customer service, right? So, like, how can you implement AI into a customer service environment? And not everyone talks the same, right? So people speak differently. Not everyone can hear well. And so, how can you offer the same experience for someone that doesn't necessarily have any of those issues? How can you offer them the same experience? And in technology, if we build it right, can do those things. And so, that's our core philosophy of, how I said earlier, respect the user. We respect everybody that uses our product.
Respect the user.
Everybody.
That's right. Yep.
Everybody love everybody.
everybody.
No, that's a great mission. Yeah, that makes it easy to go to work every morning for sure, right?
It does. Yeah, absolutely. So
that's a huge give back, actually, if you
I
think
love
about it, because these are free products for anybody. Doesn't matter how rich you are or if you just got like a bum cell phone.
Well, if you don't get chills thinking that, how cool is it that Jax is going to have all the tools in the world he needs to take? Like, if anything, he'll be at more of an advantage because he's integrated himself into the technology a lot sooner than anyone else had ever had to learn it. He may know something because of using all of it that you, like you're saying, end up down the road and in IT because you use all this technology.
He knows how to turn on stuff.
By the way, he's the coolest kid ever. If you are not following Hemming on Instagram, it's Christopher.Hemming.
Yeah.
And it is just videos of Jax in his boxers running around.
He hates to wear
with
clothes.
Binoculars.
He's
hilarious. It's the best.
He does like the craziest things too. The best part is because he's deaf. I think it's cute because I just know he's just in that stage of being adorable. But like him trying to say what he's trying to say, but like having such intent about it and like just being so cute. So he's obsessed with this. I just learned about this. It's a
Oh, the YouTube show, the Scherer family.
Yeah, what is the name of
so
the
my son is
Instagram
convinced
page?
there's a pond monster in a pond behind my house.
Oh, man.
So I find my little 4-year-old with binoculars looking out the window all the time. And bless his heart, he thinks that this pond monster, he's like been watching for it every single day.
So when he tries to explain it to Chris and Chris videos him trying to explain it, it's like he's like, and
his
monster.
binoculars at the window are the best. The day that he had them reversed was probably even better. He had the binoculars switched backwards, and he was like, I see it.
Oh my god!
I was like, is it really far out there? Because
and he thinks it's above in his.
What's the name of the Instagram pages that he likes? What's the name of their?
Oh, it's the Scherer family. It's Stephen Scherer.
Okay, cool.
And what I love about it is the Scherers do "I love you" in sign language.
They share the love.
Nice.
And so I think that resonated with Jax because that's
he recognizes
how he communicates is through sign language, and so.
Here's my son. I'll show you.
Oh
there,
my gosh.
Jack. There you go.
We'll make sure we put it on the screen.
He's sharing the love.
You know what? He's going to find a monster in that lake, and you guys.
You already know.
Yeah, we'll be like, oh, it was there the whole time.
Like I told you.
Does Madeline have a crazy imagination?
She does. So like she loves to sing. She loves to sing, like, and so she'll miss half the words, but she'll hit every other word. Yeah, it's so funny. Yeah. And then
what do you guys listen to at home?
Lots of country.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. So
really?
Yeah.
You guys, are you guys? Who's our friend?
You don't remember your friend's name?
Do.
Michael
Ray. Yeah.
Oh yeah. She
like
really
Michael
likes
Ray?
Eric Church.
Okay.
Oh,
that's
like
a
wrecking ball.
Yeah.
That's our favorite.
You're
one.
Eric Church.
I mean, you're a country listener, right?
Yeah.
Aaron.
Eric Church. That's the chief.
The Chief. That's right.
Aaron,
Yeah.
are you
album.
country? Do you listen to country?
I mean, I do. I'm not like I couldn't name who sang what song.
Yeah.
I just know some songs.
Jake, what do you grow up on
Jack.
when you're?
Okay.
Jack in St. Louis.
I listened to growing up.
Yeah.
Like
because I know there's a story coming from this that I'm trying to.
70s rock and punk rock growing up. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Punk rock.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
Oh,
I just had
yeah.
a memory.
Boom! I'm trying to get in there.
Yes,
Yeah.
Oh, this is awful.
Hey, is this that one thing where he's like, hey, don't bring that one thing up, and you guys just totally got
Yeah,
it
we're
there.
dancing around it a little bit, but I
Well,
totally
now we gotta
want to
tell
talk
him
about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So in like the 7th grade, I was in a punk rock band,
Yeah.
and
Coolest name ever, though.
The coolest thing about it was the name, and the name was Unproper English.
Well, I like that.
Which someone should take that name and turn it into a real.
No,
band.
you should trademark it
Right,
right now.
because
Maybe
it's,
I should,
Well,
yeah.
and it's been dubbed as a good name by someone in the industry.
That's
that
right.
We all
Yeah,
respect.
I was talking to Tom DeLong from Blink-182, and he said, "Dude, that's a rad name."
How do you end up in a room with Tom
Wow.
DeLonge?
It was just an autograph line at a concert.
Love it. Yeah.
So,
Cool.
yeah, and I was like the 7th grade kid
What'd he say,
with
though?
braces and really long hair, and I was like, "That's the coolest thing ever." Yeah, it was funny.
Let's rock on,
Yeah.
guys.
So that kept us going for another year.
How many guys in the band?
There were 5.
Oh my god.
a lot of people.
5 in a punk
What was
band?
your
Nice.
I was the singer. Dear God, I told you guys not to talk about this.
Yeah. There's
It
pictures.
just keeps getting
Now we
worse.
gotta
I'm
work.
sure if
It
we
works.
I'm sure if we Google it, there's some pictures
God.
somewhere. right?
Gotta be something.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
no.
barbecue should be on its way, so we can
Very cool.
we can hit that up soon. But was there anything else that you like wanted that you really are here to say for Google or on your behalf of like my
I feel like it's been a good conversation.
boss sent me
Yeah.
with the
So I
message.
could ask the Hana question. I could ask you
Sure.
about, is there a question similar to that?
No,
So
yeah.
like, so out there's quite a few people, for example, SAP customers who
Yeah.
are using Hana.
Right.
And you guys are doing something really unique where you can help customers like that or who are using other products
It's
similar.
helping
Yeah.
mostly people on SAP, right?
Right, yeah. So people that are going through a transition to SAP HANA, a lot of those companies are looking at, okay, well, would be a good time to leverage the cloud, right? Move SAP to cloud, get out of the business of managing the infrastructure themselves, that sort of thing. And so, one things that we can do is, we can run very large instances of S4 in VMs, so not on bare metal. And so that might make sense to some people, maybe it doesn't, but what...
That sounds like a foreign
Speaking
language
an
right now.
alien language over here. Yeah.
But
And
basically,
that's what happens. I'm like, oh, okay.
basically what that means is that we can do it very inexpensively.
Okay.
So we can very much lower your costs, probably so much that it'll actually pay for your S4 implementation. And then also one of the things that people don't think about a ton is like, okay, what do we do with the data once we move it to the cloud? So you want to think about in that transition, what's the plan for the data? And so you want to think about the cloud provider that you move to. Do they have the best analytics and AI and machine learning platform? And obviously, we've got a really great story around all of those topics. And so once you move your data to Google Cloud, we can go ahead and help you solve different problems for whatever it is.
Ooh, and then control. I can also get my what were you talking about? It was fiber or something. I can get my cable now through you.
Yeah, so some people, if you're in a market, you can get Google Fiber.
Because I'm done with TV where I'm getting it from. So what's up, Google?
Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah, so some people who are in a Google Fiber market probably know about it and they know the advantages, but basically, we're laying fiber and you can get really super fast internet and
awesome.
It's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? So if you have a customer similar to the one you explained earlier that has like 5,000 locations, do you have other tools beyond AI that you can really help them, like the fiber, some of these other types of tools to help them be very successful?
So, our cloud is really our bread and butter. So, basically, what we can do is, if you start leveraging our cloud to create maybe like a new application or to revamp an old application or something like that, we can help you do it in a way that, 1, very cost effective, 2, extremely secure, 3, never goes down. And then 4, how can we improve that workflow or application that you've got built?
Do they get the Googler experience of like getting Google's expertise people to help them solve those challenges?
That's the one thing I hope people take away is that, like, yes, you're getting our expertise. The people that I bring into these meetings and that are, that work with you on a daily basis when we're working on projects together, very intelligent people that will help you think of things differently. And it happens in every single meeting that I bring these engineers into, is people leave the meeting knowing something that they did not know. And that's our greatest advantage is that we can bring
That's awesome.
we can bring these ideas, new things to executives who, they know this stuff. They read about it. They're knowledgeable themselves, but we can bring
that new
different perspective.
Yeah, I love that.
I think that always helps because, like, we're a small business and we have little expansions of growth in certain areas, and it's sometimes hard. You're in the day-to-day that you forget to look up and be like, oh, well, that piece of that puzzle can fit right there because you just
shout out Tony Bubb. We added someone to our team who does this for us. Like, definitely helps us get a fresh perspective or a different, and it, like, once you apply it, you're like, oh, that works. And, sometimes for me, just stuck in your own way, like, no, this is how it works. And then
shout out to Tony. She's awesome.
Shout out Tony.
Shout out Tony.
Like Tony, man.
We love Tony. Yeah.
But the other cool thing is if you are getting that expertise, then it kind of goes back to pegging the question of, well, what are executives going to do with AI? And if your team's helping them solve those challenges, I think it'd be more of a strategic role that these executives are going to have, is thinking strategically on where else can this company go, right?
Right, yeah. It's all about thinking about, 10 years from now.
Yeah.
If you're not thinking 10 years down the road, then there's a chance that you might not be here in 10 years. And
yeah.
We had that conversation in front of 80 people the other day, and we've gotten a lot of great feedback from that meeting. A lot of people that didn't speak up at the meeting are writing us emails afterwards and saying, hey, we need help with this aspect of our business, etc.
Yeah.
This is so cool. It's kind of like phone a friend. Yeah. If you are ever stuck, you have some of the smartest people in the world. So this is why we're really excited to meet you, Jack, is because Google has some of the most incredible people. As we've traveled around the United States and met different people from Google, there is no doubt they're hiring some of the best of the best. So congratulations on being part of that team.
I like to think
That's
I just
really
got
cool.
Lucky. It's that 7-Eleven Slurpee mentality, right?
Yeah,
so
man.
Just got a little lucky.
That's when you drop that. Stay up all night to get lucky. Sorry, that's like the total different.
I was like, is this a 7-Eleven song?
I don't know. Erin's doing post-production on her own right now.
None of that there, LJ.
Well, on that note, it's probably a good place to wrap up.
All right, well, we want to thank you for being here today, Jack. We really appreciate you taking time to visit with us. And for all those listeners out there, Erin?
Well, for all those listeners out there, hopefully you got to learn a little bit more about what Google's doing behind the scenes that isn't always advertised through your quick search engine. So if you want to learn more, executives, you can contact us at C10 and we can get you right in touch with Jack. Or Jack, what is your email?
It is jackblair@ google.com.
Perfect. Well,
thank you guys so much for having me today. This
thanks
was
for
a lot of fun. Thank you for this morning and the breakfast with everyone else. That was great.
Absolutely. It was also worth the food. You guys have really good food here, man.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like we lucked out. Good city, good guest for our first run. So
absolutely.
I feel blessed.
Thank you again.
Thanks for being here.
Cool. All right.
Ciao, Bella.
Ciao. Is that your sign off?
Ciao.